Okay, this distortion that he's using, I couldn't stop the rain, is a glottic distortion, which means that it happens at the level of the vocal folds, the structure here responsible for creating that distortion. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis. And today we're going to listen to Daughtry Antidote. And here's the thing, I opened YouTube this morning, I was looking for something to analyze here, and of course I know the song, I heard before. The album, the whole thing is amazing. I'm a big fan of Daughtry's. However, he just released the music video for this one. I've seen some live performances, I heard the original song, but the music video just came out, and of course I wanted to watch it with you guys. So that's exactly what we're listening to today. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Stylistic. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. I'm recording this on the 30th of January, so 2 months ago I released my latest single, Leave It All Behind. And if you are into Daughtry, if you like rock, if you like high vocals, distorted vocals, heavy guitars, fast solos, you might like it, and it would mean the world to me if you could go there, give it a listen, and let me know your thoughts on it. I would love to hear feedback on my music as well. I'm just like yourself if you're a singer on the battlefield singing, and as a vocal coach slash voice teacher, my work is based on and it's focused on laryngeal biomechanics, so what the muscles that we have inside our larynxes they do in order to perform the singing behaviors that we like to hear in the singers that we like, in the songs that we like. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. We'll be analyzing this performance based on the laryngeal physiology, what's happening inside, how we can achieve similar results depending on what we're doing with our laryngeal muscles. Alright, if you want to become my singing student, check out my singing course, Building Your Voice. It's linked down below. There we cover a range of different topics inside vocal technique. We talk about how to belt, what or the so-called active vocal schemes whenever you sing with that compression, that power. We also talk about passive vocal schemes. It should be softer sounds that we can use to be super expressive with our voices. We talk about ornaments such as vibratos, yodels, runs, and vocal distortions. Yeah! Of course, how to practice, how to apply vocal distortions in a way that's healthy, that will not hurt our voices. Alright, all of that said, let's dive right in. Let's listen to Antidote by Daughtry. Okay, we have a lot of compression going on there. I like it. So it sounds louder than it actually is. So pay attention to that because the sounds here are super soft and super quiet as well. And ain't no use. So for instance, this is a vocal distortion that we call a creaky voice. And no use, and this kind of vocal distortion here is soft, it's super small. In the environment like this is supposed to be quieter than speaking normally without that distortion. And this is a misconception that a lot of people have. Oh, vocal distortions need to be loud, need to be strong. No, the creaky voice, for instance, is a kind of vocal distortion that's super soft. In fact, if you try to make the creaky voice loud, you lose that distortion. And then right after that, we have a breathy voice. No use, ain't no use. So just ain't no use. We have two different singing behaviors. We have the creaky, then the breathy voice. Ain't no use. Running. Now we have active vocal folds. Running. Ain't no use in running. That's super cool. A lot of information from a technical point of view. So this any here again, vocal folds and active tension. We have more blood mobilized. We have more muscle mass mobilized. The muscles are acting more to create that compression. This is a kind of vocal scheme that inside vocal anthropophysiology, which is a theoretical framework from my work as a voice teacher, we call that a crooner voice. Okay, we are singing with active vocal folds. Hey! And here we are talking about a lower part of our range. And lower here meaning below the E4. oh, this would be the E4. If you're singing this pitch or above it, we are doing another vocal scheme that we'll be talking about later because he'll be doing it. And if you are singing the D sharp and below that, that's a crooner voice if you're talking about active vocal folds. And here he started with a vocal distortion, the creaky, and then a breathy voice, which is a passive vocal scheme. The vocal folds are more relaxed. We have even that scape of air, and then the active vocal scheme. So a lot of information here. Let's keep going.
If it leads you to the fire and you float with falling.
That's amazing. Of course, when we think about this from a singer's point of view, when we are singing, we are not necessarily thinking, oh, I'm starting the word with a creaky voice, and then I'm doing a breathy voice, and then I'm doing a crooner voice. Sometimes we are indeed doing it, but the goal is to create dynamics. I always say that the function of vocal technique is to make our singing more expressive. We want to be super expressive with our voices. We want to convey emotion with our singing, and because of that, we use different sounds when we are singing. So I'm totally against that speech that, oh, vocal technique will make you robotic, will make you lose all of your emotion. No, it's the opposite. Of course, we can always overdo things, but I'm pretty sure that when Daughtry was recording this, he wasn't thinking, oh, I need to switch the vocal techniques that I'm using every 2 words. No, that's not the way it works. We want to create emotion and we go through different sounds. But of course, if we are talking about students, if you want to develop your voice, then paying attention to those patterns is important. All of these techniques, they are happening regardless of whether you are thinking about that or not, regardless of whether the singer was thinking about that or not. And if you are studying, if you are learning, if you want to really develop and take your singing to another level, it is important to pay attention to what's going on with the singers that you do like.
Walking on the wire.
That's breathy. Okay, whoa. That's precisely that E. Warning, whoa. That's a worn voice. That's funny. Without warning, that's a worn voice. And the worn voice is how we call this belty style inside vocal anthropophysiology, which is again the field, the line of theory, the approach that I follow when teaching singing vocal anthropophysiology. Inside vocal anthropophysiology, we call this vocal scheme a worn voice because it's pretty much the kind of vocal behavior that we would use in everyday life to warn someone about something. Imagine that you want to call someone on the other side of the street, hey, oh! That's a similar behavior. Of course, when you're singing, we pay attention to volume and some different aspects that in an everyday anthropological context we wouldn't. In singing, we do, but that's a similar behavior. So, pretty nice here. That's an example of worn voice. Of course, when you're singing above that E, and that's the reason why we give it a different name, the physiology changes. We have a greater action of the CTs, the cricothyroid muscles stretching the vocal folds, and that also requires a greater action of the firming muscles, which are the muscles in the back of your throat. And here we can say the lateral cricoarytenoid muscles, the transverse arytenoid muscle, and the oblique arytenoid muscles. So all of these guys in the back of your throat, they need to really embrace your vocal folds to avoid vocal breaks. And that's the reason why sometimes it is so hard to sing with that power, that compression up there. Because if these muscles are not working properly, you go up, and you experience breaks because those muscles are not embracing the vocal folds enough. And of course, Daughtry is a great example of how to sing those notes with power. Yeah, let's go.
If I knew the prayer when you called, and there's no escape.
The way he's easing into a passive scheme at the end of the phrases, that's so beautiful.
There's no escape.
There's no escape. A breath yet. Yeah, those breaths at the end. That's amazing. And here we start to have some vocal distortion. Let's listen to that again. Couldn't stop the rain. Yeah, we have that rain. Amazing. And also, something that I did, and he also does quite a lot, those yodos at the end of some strong parts. Rain! This is when you let go at the end of a strong belt. I particularly like it a lot. Some singers, some vocal coaches, they don't appreciate that as much, but I'm a big fan. And basically, yodos are those breaks whenever we want them to happen. We used to call them yodos.
When the hurricane was coming, I couldn't keep the pace. With a runaway train going off the tracks, looking back, inside the watch the poison take control.
Everything was so strong, and then that take control soft with a breathy voice.
Poison take back, inside the watch the poison take.
What's the poison taken? That's so good. That's so good. Also, another thing that I'm noticing, every music video that this guy's releasing is so epic. Like the photography, the style, it's so cinematic and beautiful. Something that I did say once on my channel is probably one of the first singers, one of the first artists that I really was into was Daughtry. Just when I started my journey, his first album, it was so good I couldn't stop listening to it. And the first song that I actually sang in front of people, it was part of a school project thing, was "What About Now" by Daughtry. So I'm a big fan. You can tell.
And you don't have the antidote. Heavy armor.
Okay, again, we have that breathy voice, heavy armor. However, pay attention to how it sounds powerful. Keep in mind that we are talking about a studio recording, we have compression going on there. So some things will sound soft and loud at the same time because of that.
Heavy armor makes it hard to fight. It's like treading water.
The run.
Swimming against the tide. Now you're at war. You're fighting so hard, but the
Hard. Again, those yodos at the end, so fantastic.
torture has become your guide. I couldn't stop the rain when the hurricane was coming. I couldn't keep the pace with a runaway train going off the tracks. Looking back, it's hard to watch the poison take control when you don't have the
I just love what these guys are doing here with the rain and the lights. It's just so epic. And I'm saying that because like whenever I release a song and then it's time to sit down to think about, okay, what am I doing for visuals? What am I doing for a music video? I understand how hard it is to pull off something like this. And all of his works, especially the latest works here in terms of visuals, are just marvelous. Okay, this distortion that he's using, I couldn't stop the rain, is a glottic distortion, which means that it happens at the level of the vocal folds. The structure here responsible for creating that distortion, the or the arytenoid cartilages, which are the cartilages that pretty much hold the vocal folds. So they are in the back portion of the vocal folds, and when they crack, we have this kind of sound here. If we have less muscle mass and less inside the vocal folds, then we can be talking about something in the direction of a creaky. As we start to increase the muscle mass, we can have something in this direction here.
With a one-way train going off the tract, looking back, it's time to watch the poison take control. When you don't have the antidote.
It's so cool!
You don't have the antidote.
We're at the antidote. Amazing. Another thing about Daughtry's singing is the vocal track narrowing that he uses. Like, without hey, he's not doing or no, we have a really specific style. Without hey, we have the soft ballad aiming for a semi-vertical position instead of totally vertical. No, we have something in the direction of hey, and we also have the base of the tongue raising a little bit. Fantastic. That's really interesting and a really strong characteristic in his singing. So amazing. All right, guys, that's our analysis for Antidote by Daughtry. Let me know your thoughts on the song, your thoughts on the music video, and of course your thoughts on my analysis. Let me know if you have songs to suggest me to make analysis as well. If you want to become my singing student, check out my online singing program, Building Your Voice, where we cover all of the techniques and much more. We will be talking about active vocal schemes if you want to belt out high notes, but also if you want to sing low notes with power. We talk about passive vocal schemes if you want to be really expressive with your voice and make those soft sounds. We talk about ornaments such as vibratos, yodels, runs. We have a bonus module on music theory for singers if you want to understand more about music theory. We have a complete module on vocal distortions, how to practice and apply them in a way that's safe for your voice. All of that and much more, again, inside my singing course, Building Your Voice, link down below. And if you are curious about my own singing, sometimes you'll be listening to vocal coaches and then you wonder, okay, but can this person actually sing how they sound when they are singing for real? I'm on the battlefield just like yourself if you're a singer, and I'm happy to say that I'm always writing music, releasing music, recording music, and I would love, again, it would mean the world to me if you could go there and listen to my music. I'll leave a card up here, so listen to it, let me know your thoughts. That would mean a lot to me. Alright, you enjoy your day, you enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, then they must change and not the world.